A brand new day is here, and with it comes a whole new wave of surprises. Today, we're diving into another chapter in the lives of Kiet and the strong, resilient single mom, Tu Na. You never really know what to expect when it comes to these two, but that's exactly what makes their journey so captivating. First off, I just want to say thank you seriously to everyone who's been watching, supporting, and showing love to these videos. Your encouragement means the world, and it's what keeps me going, episode after episode. If you've been following along, you know things are never quiet when it comes to Kiet and Tu Na. There's always some twist of fate, a heartwarming moment, or an unexpected turn that pulls us in and keeps us coming back for more. And today? Well, let's just say you won't want to miss what's coming next. So go ahead, grab your coffee, settle in, and let's experience today's story together. I promise it's going to be good. And hey, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's keep this journey going strong. Ready? Let's jump in. Just like any other morning, Kiet headed off to his job at the local woodworking factory, while Tu Na made her usual rounds, visiting small vegetable farms to gather produce to sell at the market. It was a quiet, ordinary start to the day until something unexpected happened. As soon as Kiet arrived at the workshop, the floor manager, Mr. Tuan, called him into the office. Kiet could tell from the tone in Mr. Tuan's voice that this wasn't just a routine chat. He hesitated for a moment, then stepped into the room, greeted his manager respectfully, and took a seat while Mr. Tuan wrapped up a phone call. After hanging up, Mr. Tuan looked over and said, "Kiet, there's something important I need to talk to you about today." Immediately, Kiet felt a knot form in his stomach. Had he done something wrong? Was there an issue he didn't know about? Trying to stay calm, he responded, "Yes, sir." "What's going on?" Mr. Tuan leaned back and smiled. "I've been observing your work for quite some time now. You've been doing an excellent job handling everything efficiently, staying focused, and setting a great example. The owner and I both agree. It's time for a change. We'd like to promote you to the position of factory supervisor." Kiet blinked, stunned. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. It felt surreal. A part of him was proud, but another part immediately felt a wave of self-doubt. "Wow, I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of responsibility," he admitted quietly. "What if I can't handle it?" Mr. Tuan gave a reassuring nod. "You've got what it takes. I'm confident you'll rise to the occasion. Besides, the promotion comes with a better salary, more stability, and a better life for you and those you care about." Kiet sat in silence, letting the weight of the opportunity sink in. It wasn't just about the money, it was about stepping up, about growth. It meant proving to himself that he was capable of more. And, more than anything, it meant being able to provide a better future. For Tu Na and her little one, after a moment of reflection, he finally nodded. "Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate your trust in me. I'll do my best not to let you down." Later that day, after finishing work, Kiet sat quietly outside the factory, lost in thought. The sun was beginning to set, casting a warm glow over the landscape, and his mind wandered to the road ahead. He felt both nervous and inspired. He knew life was about to change, and not just for him. He thought about Tu Na, about her strength, her kindness, her unwavering effort to build a good life for her and her child. He wanted to share the news with her, to celebrate this milestone together. Maybe pick up something nice for dinner. Make the night special. But when he reached into his pocket to check his money, reality hit. All he had left were a few crumpled bills, not nearly enough to buy a decent meal. Still, Kiet wasn't the kind of man to give up that easily. With quiet determination, he stood up, dusted off his pants, and set off toward the river that flowed down from the mountain. If he couldn't buy something fancy, he'd catch something fresh instead. Up in the cool, shaded waters of the stream, Kiet worked with skill and patience, his hands dipping and darting through the clear current. It took time and a fair bit of slipping and splashing, but eventually, he had a solid catch, enough fish for a full dinner. Soaking wet but satisfied, Kiet climbed back to the trail, slung the fish over his shoulder, and began the walk home. His clothes clung to him, the mountain breeze cutting through, but he didn't mind. All he could think about was the look on Tuna's face when he shared both the dinner and the news. When Kiet finally made it back to Tuna's house, he found her outside near the water basin, busy doing something with her hands. He called out to her gently. "Tuna, what are you up to out here?" She looked up, surprised, but smiling softly. "Oh, hey, you're here. I'm just getting dinner started." Kiet smiled and held up the bundle of fresh fish he had caught earlier. "I went up to the stream and managed to catch quite a few fish today. Thought maybe I'd bring them over, and maybe we could have dinner together." Tuna's face lit up with a warm, genuine joy. "Wow, you caught all those yourself? They look amazing. All right, let me get the rice going. You're staying for dinner." Kiet nodded, his smile widening. "Great. I'll get these cleaned up then. Oh, and by the way, there's something I've been meaning to tell you, but we'll talk in a bit." He crouched down by the water, methodically cleaning each fish, while Tuna rushed into the kitchen to start the rice. A few minutes later, she returned to help him finish gutting and prepping the fish. There was no rush, no stress, just two people moving naturally around each other, hands busy, but hearts at ease. Together, they fried the fish until golden and crisp, steamed fresh vegetables, and laid out a simple, comforting meal. As the food sizzled and the smell filled the air, they shared laughs and small stories. From the day, nothing dramatic, just the kind of everyday conversation that somehow feels important when shared with the right person. There was an unspoken rhythm between them, like they'd been doing this forever. No grand declarations, no labels, just warmth, connection, and the beginnings of something deeper. By the time dinner was ready, the sky had faded into soft hues of twilight. A gentle breeze rustled through the trees as night began to settle over the quiet countryside. Inside, the warm glow from a single hanging bulb filled the small kitchen with a comforting light. Tuna and Kiet had laid out their simple meal on the low wooden table, a pot of steaming rice, golden fried fish, and a plate of freshly boiled vegetables. They sat down together, shoulder to shoulder, a calm silence lingering between them for a moment, before Tuna broke it with a soft voice. "Earlier, you said you had something to tell me?" Kiet looked up, slightly surprised she remembered, but gave a shy smile. "Yeah, I did." He took a breath, then said, "I got promoted today to factory supervisor. It's official now. The manager called me in this morning and gave me the news." Tuna's eyes widened. "Really? That's amazing. Congratulations, Kiet. You totally deserve it." He gave a quiet chuckle, looking down at his bowl of rice. "Thanks. I'm still kind of wrapping my head around it. I didn't expect it at all. But it means a higher salary and, Well, a little more stability. Tu Na smiled at him, the kind of smile that carries more than just happiness. It was support. It was pride. You've worked hard. I'm happy for you. They both took a few bites in silence, the crackle of fried fish, and the quiet hum of the night wrapping around them like a soft blanket. Then slowly, the conversation opened up. They began talking, not just about the promotion, but about what it could mean, about plans for the future, about dreams neither of them had dared to voice out loud before. Kiet spoke about saving more, maybe finding a better place to live, something cozier, closer to the market so Tuna wouldn't have to travel so far every morning. He talked about how maybe one day he could help send her little girl to a good school. Tuna shared her hopes too. She talked about wanting to grow her own garden, about how she wished to one day own a small stall in the market where she wouldn't have to rely on others for produce anymore. Maybe even learn to make homemade sauces or preserves to sell. Their voices intertwined in that small, quiet space, creating a bubble of warmth, not flashy or dramatic, but real and rooted in care. Under the soft, flickering glow of the single light above them, their laughter occasionally rang out small, genuine moments of shared joy. Outside, the night deepened. The stars began to peek through the dark sky, and the cool night air carried with it the scent of wet grass and fresh earth. Inside, two people sat across from each other. No longer just two individuals surviving day to day, but something more. Maybe it wasn't love just yet. Maybe it was still too early to say. But in that moment, between the steam of the rice and the sparkle of hopeful eyes, it was clear. A new chapter was beginning. A chapter filled with quiet promises, unwritten possibilities, and the slow, steady building of something truly meaningful.
Nhưng rồi, một bên là người chồng cũ, người đã khiến Tử Nha phải chịu đựng bao nhiêu năm tháng gian truân. Anh là người đã bỏ rơi cô và không một lời giải thích, bỏ lại mẹ con cô đối mặt với bao khó khăn mà không biết tìm ai để nương tựa. 2 năm qua, Tử Nha đã tự mình gánh vác mọi thứ, không một lời kêu ca, nhưng trong thâm tâm cô luôn đau đáu với câu hỏi: tại sao anh lại bỏ đi? Anh đã trở về, và sau bao năm tháng biệt tích, mang theo lời xin lỗi và sự hối hận. Những lời anh nói đầy ân hận, đầy mong muốn sửa sai. Nhưng liệu có thể xóa đi tất cả những tổn thương mà anh đã gây ra? Liệu Tử Nha có thể tha thứ cho anh sau tất cả những gì đã xảy ra? Sau bao đêm dài cô đơn, sau bao nhiêu nỗi đau mà cô phải gánh chịu. Tử Nha hít một hơi thật sâu, lòng đầy nặng trĩu, nhưng cô biết rằng dù quyết định thế nào, cô vẫn phải sống vì chính mình, vì con gái, vì những giấc mơ chưa hoàn thành. Những vết thương lòng sẽ dần lành theo thời gian, nhưng sự lựa chọn hôm nay sẽ là quyết định tương lai của cô và con gái.